Welcome to Living the Dream, sponsored by Jackrabbit Dance, the podcast that brings together studio owners, dance educators, and leaders in the industry. Hosted by Rhee Gold and Laura Giacomelli, each episode is packed with real talk, inspiration, and a passion for the dance life. We're so glad you're here. Good morning, friends, and welcome to Living the Dream. I'm Rhee Gold, and I'm here with my amazing co-host, Laura Giacomelli. Hey, Laura.
Thank you, Rhee. Thank you. Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. This is a really special episode, so we know you're going to enjoy it.
Yeah, today is special. We sit down with a longtime friend who I've known for many years. And as many of you know, she'll be stepping in shortly in the brand new role of owner of the Rhee Gold Company, and I'll be stepping into the role of visionary. But more about that shortly.
Yep. And as always, as you are watching, let us know in the comments where you're watching from, or if you have any questions while you're listening.
So I am thinking about dance season in full swing, Laura. What's that like for you right now?
It's exactly that, Rhee. Dance season in full swing. We opened up on the 6th, and it has been great. Busy, packed, great. This weekend was busy for me. I had 13 private lessons between Friday and Saturday. So it was, yeah, exactly. I was like, I haven't done that since I was probably 25 years old. I was like, who do I think I am? But they were
Is
really
that
good.
new for you? Like, did you jump back in or something?
I did. Yeah. We choreograph all of our solos, duos, and trios for the season in the summer. And then they have to have private lessons to maintain them throughout the fall. So this was just coming in, warming up, and running and cleaning. So it wasn't teaching classes for 13 hours. I think I'd be laying on this couch face down if I was really teaching. It was more like rehearsals. So, but everyone looked really good. I'm like, wow, like it's nice that we get all this done in the summer and I have time to just run it and the kids can hang and go to football games. It gives everybody a little bit more flexibility, which is cool. But you went to Weissman 2 weeks ago. How was that? We love Weissman. How was it?
Love Weissman's. I loved it. It was actually, I think I've been going like 14, 15 years. You get to know people, the employees at Weissman's, the teachers who consistently come to Weissman's. There is a girl, her name is Claudia. I think her title is the executive marketing person. And we have been doing this show together since the first year she started, or maybe she started the year before. Getting back together with her and hanging out and reminiscing is awesome. You know what else? I got a chance to do a seminar with Michelle there. So the two of us
did that's neat. What was that about? Tell me about a little bit about it.
It was focused on thinking about retention from day one, not waiting until March and April and saying, what should we do about retention? But like, how do you begin a season with retention? Right from the beginning on your mind.
Yeah. And I feel like I'm planting that seed with your staff too, like everybody knowing that. Because I feel like I'm sure a lot of us studio owners have that in mind. Retention is very important. What I realized is I really wasn't communicating that to my staff until like the past couple years, like how important it is that if you see kids dropping from your class, like why? You know what I mean? Like ask yourself why, what's going on? Do I need to switch things up? It's not the right time. Do I not like the style? Like, I think making the staff more aware, at least for me, has helped Lieber a lot, like to make them a little bit more aware of how that affects the bottom line, really, because it does.
I'm with you on that. And it is, it's like I have from the time I started speaking to studio owners to now, I've changed my thoughts on two things majorly. Retention is all year long, and registration is all year long. It's like you can't go into this model of, oh, well, the costumes are all ordered, so the season is closed. We're done with that. You got to start bringing them in a different way. And then next year they're in your recital.
Yep.
And the retention part. It's like, if I were to, retention at this time of the year is really about outstanding customer service. Boom.
Yep. 100%, Rhee. And I actually stole your line at my staff meeting. I tell them at the end of every staff meeting, my goal is for the kids to get into the car when they're getting picked up and say, God, I love dance. I love dance. Like, I literally said to all of my teachers like that. And you said that years ago. And it's in my handbook. Like, that's our goal, because that's retention. They're not going to pull them if they're getting into the car every single week. I loved that class. I love dance. Like, that's our goal as teachers and studio owners, to make them fall in love with it, and have a passion for it. So yes, that's in my handbook now. That's the goal.
And no, that's a message I said a long time ago, and I believe in it wholeheartedly. If you can be the teacher who gives your kids a high five and they jump in the car every week and say, I love dance, you got it made. And I don't think of that as a hard thing. You may not win it 100%, but with that just as the focus in the back of your mind, yes.
And that is your retention. Like, that goes hand in hand. If they're saying they love it, they're not going to drop. Their parents aren't going to pull them, right? Like, that's A equals B. If they go hand in hand, for sure.
I want to say good morning to Jesslyn, and I think who else do I have here? Aaron Ray, good morning to you.
And Pam Simpson's here. Hi, Pam. Good morning.
Good morning to everybody. Okay, before we go to Michelle, let's give a shout out. Let me prepare myself here.
Yep.
Let's give a shout out to Jackrabbit Dance, always supporting what the Rhee Gold Company is up to and supporting the community in general.
Yes, Jackrabbit is the go-to software for dance studio owners, helping us with everything from registration and billing to scheduling and class management. Check out Jackrabbit.
This episode is sponsored by Jackrabbit Dance, the dance studio software empowering you to build the studio of your dreams. With over 20 years of experience, Jackrabbit has the solutions and industry insights to help your business grow. Want to increase student enrollment, optimize your pricing to be profitable, or improve staff retention? See how other studios are using Jackrabbit Dance to hit their goals year after year. To learn more, visit jackrabbitdance.com/benchmarks.
Hi, everybody. Welcome, Michelle. This feels kind of interesting, my friend.
This has been a real year.
I love it. Before we start, I just want to say, those of you listening, feel free to ask questions during this podcast. Let us know where you're from. Share your thoughts. Okay, here we go. Miss Michelle.
All right. So today we welcome someone who has, you guys already know, Michelle Soutier. Michelle's leadership, passion, and business savvy has inspired studio owners around the country. And now we get to learn a little bit more about her personal journey today. So welcome, Michelle.
Hello. I'm glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
We're excited to have you. Most people know you are the owner of Miller Street Dance Academies in North and South Carolina. You're a mentor, a presenter. And what I look at you as is a person for young women to look up to for what possibilities they can achieve. That wasn't part of my script. That came from my sincere heart. Welcome.
Thank you.
And I can confirm that, Michelle. I see the script, so he's not lying about that.
Let's go back to the beginning, very beginning. I know it's a small town in North Carolina, but what are your earliest memories of dance?
Okay, so I was born in Statesville, North Carolina, which is about an hour outside of Charlotte. And my parents divorced when I was 3. But when my parents divorced, my mom had a dance studio in our basement and taught children around. Now, we lived on a 500-acre farm, so I can't really call it in the neighborhood, but people close to where they lived. So she taught dance and had little recitals, all the things. So when we moved back to her hometown, which is near Raleigh, I grew up dancing there, and she put me with her original teacher, Mrs. Morgan. So I stayed with Mrs. Morgan until she retired. I was probably 9 when she retired. And my earliest traumatic memory from dance, because
I was looking for a fun one, but let's go traumatic.
But it's actually funny because, you get your costume. Mine was blue. And she said, don't play in it. Got it. Did not got it. So mom took it home, put it up in her closet. So all I had to do was bounce 3 times on her bed to reach anything at the top of her closet. So I did. I got it down. I took it in my room, and I had my Disco Duck album that I danced to every day. And I put the costume on. I'm dancing around, and I get thirsty. So I go to grab my chocolate milk.
Oh, no.
You know where this is going? Now, you remember back in 1970, this would have been maybe 5 or 6, I don't know, early, mid-70s. Everything was satin. We didn't have lycra or anything. It just was that satin fronts.
Yeah, right.
Down the front went the chocolate milk. So what would any kid do? I rolled it up, stuffed it in the bag, threw it back up at the top of the closet because I didn't have anything to do with this. Not thinking, girl, you're getting ready to be on stage with this costume on. So when mom got that down, she's like, oh my God, what could have happened to this costume? I said, do you think Jim did it? He's my brother. That was my go-to on everything with my brother. Do you think he did this? I didn't say he did this. I was just asking. I was inquiring. Do you think? Oh, mother knew. So she said, I don't care what happened to it. You can go and tell Mrs. Morgan. That was the most traumatic moment because Mrs. Morgan, a Disneyland teacher. She was an old school, beat her. I think it was a yardstick. I don't even think it was like a thing. I think it was just a yardstick. She, as you're doing the Al Gilbert tap, she's banging on the floor, the whole thing. Anyway, yeah, that was my most traumatic memory. And it's funny. And I tell the story to my kids every time I give the costumes out, so they won't do that.
Right. That's like your go-to when you're giving out costumes. Like, nope, remember, no chocolate milk. I usually say spaghetti. I don't know why. I just say no spaghetti. You don't need your pasta in this. And they're looking at me, laugh, and I'm like, but I'm being serious.
Yes.
Can I just comment? I think it's so neat that both you and Rhee's mom had dance studios in their basements.
Isn't that crazy?
I hadn't even thought about that.
Yeah.
That's like, wow. When you said that part of the story, I was like, oh my gosh, I wonder, did your moms know each other or no? No. Okay.
My mom was very small time because when she moved back to my hometown, she became a special ed teacher in the high school. And then she bought my family funeral home. So she just completely stayed, but she was a beautiful ballroom dancer. She was certified through Dance Masters of America in ballroom as well. So she's very talented. She can play the piano. She's a singer, but if you met her, you would never know it. She is so she doesn't talk about it. She doesn't brag about it. And she dies when I tell people, but yes. So I come from a family of very talented people.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, I have a question. So as far as when you were little, was there a moment throughout your journey of dance when you just said, this is my life calling. This is what I'm going to do forever?
yeah, when I was around the time I was with my Disco Duck album, pouring chocolate milk down my front, I knew I was going to be a dancer. But I even knew this is because my mom and I loved watching beauty pageants on TV, and there were only a couple at the time. And my babysitter was Miss North Carolina. And she was the most beautiful thing. She was a living Barbie doll. And I said, I am going to be a dancer, and I am going to be Miss America. Now, that did not happen, but Jenny Boger was her name, and she had 3 daughters. All of them went on to win Miss North Carolina USA, and one became Miss USA. So she was, all the kids were just like her. Like, she's amazing. But she was such a big influence on me at the time, and that's what kept me dancing, is thinking that I would need that for Miss America.
Whoa.
You know.
For your talent section. I get it.
So you weren't thinking at that age, I'd like to have my own studio?
Oh, of course, because I put on shows. I used all my old costumes. My best friend Galinda at the time, I would put her in costumes and make up dances to the Grease album, my Disco Duck album. I had a handful. But my main goal was I had to keep doing this for Miss America, and then it kept snowballing from there.
Who were your role models growing up?
Well, when I was before Mrs. Morgan retired, she had a girl that actually graduated the year she retired. Her name was Mary Beth Alexander, but now she's Mary Beth Henderson, and she was from my hometown. She was gorgeous. She was a Miss Dance for Dance Masters in my chapter. She was just a beautiful person, a lot older than me, probably about 8 or 9 years older than me. And she went on to have her studio, and she's the one that took care of me when I first opened and sent me stuff, because we didn't have internet. We didn't have any of this. So when I told her I was at the studio, she made hard copies of stuff, shipped it, mailed it to me. I got my big envelope, and I lived by everything that she said. And then, of course, Rhee Gold, I fell in love with him at 10. So he was the ultimate dancer that I was going to marry. He never asked anyway. And so these were the 2 main people that I wanted to emulate. And, Mary Beth was tall and trim and just a beautiful example of what a dancer should be. And then she supported me so much when I opened, and we're still very good friends.
It's nice that you had that person when you first opened up, because I feel like when I first opened up, I didn't have Rhee at first. I had my home studio that I went to growing up, and it was very similar. I remember her saying to me, and it was Anna Marie, has since passed, but I remember her saying to me, if this is what you want to do, she called me into her office. I was like 17. And she said, if this is what you want to do, come here. And she opened the books, like her ledger books. She's like, this is your debits. This is your credits. This is how you know if you're making money, if you're in the red, and this is how you write in the ledger. And this is how I know who paid tuition. And I'm thinking to myself, God, if she knows all we got to do is press a button and tuition runs now, shit would blow her mind. Like,
different. I still have my original ledgers from the first couple of years, and it's pen and paper, like everything. And I will never throw them away, because it's such part of where I started, and everything has changed so much, and you can't fight it. I found myself in early years fighting technology, no, I'm going to do it like this. I'm going to do it like, and then I was like, finally, I listened to Rhee at his seminars and moved on with the times.
Well, Michelle, you have 3,000 students. I couldn't imagine even trying to get through 1 month's tuition of writing 3,000 items.
I want to say something, because I did grow up as a kid with a mom in the studio the old-fashioned way. Mm-hmm. There was a simplicity to it. No, we were not as sophisticated. No, we didn't even use the word retention or rollover registration or computers. Every year you go get a card made, and it would have 10 months on it.
Yep.
And the child's information on the front, but it was simpler.
It was.
And remember the adding machine with the handle that you pulled like this? You put in your number, you pull the handle. Adding machine, pull the handle, and you'd make it. My mother did anyway. Make your deposit in the morning, go to the bank, and it was simple.
Yep. I ran around to the bank all the time. I always had a deposit, always.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think the first couple years when I was open, I was the same way, Michelle, because I opened in 2011. And then I think I really switched over when I got into like Gold Alliance and switched to everything online. Thank God. Right before the pandemic, everything switched. I got my, my online, and thank God that was a life-saving situation with COVID.
I remember starting to take credit cards, and I talked to my office manager, Gina, and I go, should we do this? And she goes, Michelle, most people pay with credit cards. I go, we are so fancy.
We've made it.
You became fancy.
I was so fancy.
Big turning points. That's when you know you're big business. Okay, I'm going to share this story because it came to mind. This is what my mother thought was fancy. My mother said that she knew her business was growing and that she had to make a move when she started using 2 rolls of toilet paper a day instead of 1 roll. That is how she measured that it was time to move on. That is a true.
You know what? You can measure success by booties. You really can.
And then many years later, where like my brother Rennie has these industrial rolls of toilet paper, I'm like, look at it. When you go to the bathroom, your best memories come because you look at the toilet paper and you go, this is part of history.
No, this is just, you are fancy now. Now he's fancy. He's got this toilet paper. I've got the same one. I don't mean to brag, but yes. This big. The roll is this big.
It's not as good as it was 30 years ago. We had real toilet paper.
Yeah, we did. This is not so real toilet paper. Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's move on because this is called Living the Dream, and I think we need to get back on topic.
Yeah. So I would love to know, throughout your ownership, what would you say is one of your most rewarding moments?
When I created the studio, I said, okay, if I ever have a daughter, what do I want her to grow up in? So I started with service work, with awarding kids for good grades. I kind of set it up so everybody's child could experience what I would want my pretend child to be in. And I knew I would never have a daughter. And if I accidentally have a daughter, I knew she would not want to dance. And if she did want to dance, she would not have any talent. So I never saw a child dancing in the studio. It was this fictional character. And so by the time Natalie was born, I'm in year 5 when she was born. So by the time she started dancing, I'm year 7. And I remember bringing her to the studio, and I said, this is the safest place a little girl can be. And so that, to me, is a moment that really sticks out in my mind, is that morning walking in, and she was really little, and she wanted us to wear matching sweatsuits. So I had a little gray sweatsuit on, and she had the same one, and her little hair was in pigtails, and it was so short it wouldn't even lap over, so we called them pig sticks. And she's walking in there with these little horns on her head, looking around. I thought, this is the safest, best place for little girls, and I felt like then I'd done everything right.
And now look, you have a professional young woman, like,
I cannot believe it,
carrying on your name.
And I'm looking at the screen here and she's teaching classes, and here she's teaching babies. And it is just the coolest thing, because Becca Redder, that works with me, she came in and told me after the first week, she said, how did I get so blessed to get to teach with Natalie this year? And I said, I didn't realize y'all were in class. I don't do the schedule. My sister does. I said, oh, you get to teach with her? She said, yes. She said, it is just like teaching with you. She said, this is I love that so much. She's a calmer version of me. She's a much better version of me. Very calm. Just, when she's in a room, she's not manic. In a room without even turning around, but she's just a little mouse. So.
Oh, that's amazing.
But you created a clone of yourself. That's all I'm going to make on that last comment. Yes, you are right. I agree. She's calmer than you.
I'm busy. I got stuff to
do. Okay, I lost track of where we are here. Let's see. Oh, so you built an incredible studio. You're stepping into a whole new chapter. Now I'm gonna find out what the answer is. What's inspiring you to take this leap that you and I are taking? Which, by the way, wait, I want to say something. We're going to talk about this deeper. Look, I did that segue. We're going to talk about this deeper on 9/24, the future of SOA and Gold Alliance. And if you go to rheegold.com/studio owner, you can sign up to join us for that session. rheegold.com/studio owner. Okay, tell me and everybody else what inspired you to take this leap, my friend.
Well, the last couple of years at the studio, I'm in year 32. So I can't say I'm bored with it because Lord knows is a lot going on, but there's not much else I can do to grow this bigger. I can't get more folks in the door. Like I don't want to open a third location. I'm not interested in that. And I was like, what is my purpose? Because I'm turning 55 in a couple of weeks. And I'm like, I feel like I'm having a midlife crisis the last couple of years. Like, where am I going with my life? What am I going to do? And not that I was going to get rid of the studio, but I needed more. I just need something more because I'm a builder. And I remember sitting in church one time, and Rhee's heard this before. The minister said, if you're not growing, you're dying. And that to me, it stuck with me. I live that. And I was like, I need to grow something. I need to have something that I can expand. I love to impregnate everything. I like everything bigger than life. I grew up in a home where my mom was a minimalist. She just, that's enough. This will do, blah, blah, blah. Me, I'm a maximalist. I'm self-diagnosed, but I am a maximalist. Like if you you like this, do you want 20 of these? I always want everything bigger than everything. So, this just seemed like the natural progression. And Rhee was mentioning he was ready to step back. And so, we were going to do this over a year and it ended up doing a little quicker, but I think actually it may be better like that. Like it's really worked out. It's a lot of work, but it's really cool and it's fun. And I get to work with him and, I'm convinced him to move to North Carolina. So this is forcing him to spend time with me. So this was just the next step.
Okay, that was good. I thought I liked that answer.
You do good, thank God.
We'll be discussing this later.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I feel like this kind
of. You are HR
right
now. You're HR. I'll complain to you.
Well, there you go.
He handed that over to you. He's like,
expect my letter this afternoon coming to you in HR department.
That's funny. So, Michelle, what does that mean now as far as, I'm sure this transition and taking on the company has shifted your idea of what you want your legacy to be for the dance world. How has this taking this company on shifted that or changed that besides just owning the studio and now really focusing and helping to work with studio owners and teachers? What is your goal for that and your legacy for that?
Well, I'm so excited about it because it's like Rhee said, I remember him saying, because I could not believe that he was ready to do this. I was like, are you sure? And I kept for a long time, I'm like, there's no way. No, you don't really want to do this. But it's so exciting because he said a sentence to me that really stuck and I knew it was right. He said, Michelle, I want you to take this company and make it anything you want it to be. And I was like, wow. But the funny thing is that I would never take it in a direction he didn't like. I would, I want to honor him as I grow with this company. And then years later, if Natalie takes over this company, she's close friends with Rhee Gold. She knows him. So she would carry it, so this torch will be passed to people that love the original person. And that to me is so important. That's why, when people are selling their studios, I love it when they sell it to a student or their child takes over, because the legacy really does live on when somebody has trained under you or been a part of you. And so, I've been coming to the Rhee Gold events for 29 years, and Miller Street was built on the Rhee Gold Company. Now, I did the work. I will not say I didn't. And Rhee doesn't like taking credit for it, but he gave me the platform and the confidence. I can remember calling on things, and things would be going wrong, and he would say, "You've got this. You have the confidence to do this. Don't second guess yourself." And when I would go to seminars, not only would I learn things, but then I'd be in seminars and go, "I'm actually doing the right thing. This is what I do." So I don't know. I just feel a deep connection to Rhee and his company, just because it's gotten me to my goal. And he always says, stay true to yourself, and I've lost students whenever I stayed true to myself, but I only got one self, so I can get new students. It doesn't align with them anymore. So it's so cool. This is like a big honor to be able to be in this position.
And I think because you guys have such a true friendship, I don't think people maybe always get to see that unless they're around you guys. Like the banter before we push live, I was just looking at you two like laughing hysterically, your inside jokes and how you make fun of each other's accents, and like you guys have a true bond and friendship. So like you're saying, when you're saying right now, I'm connected to Rhee, I want to have that legacy continue, that makes sense, because I can see your bond. So congratulations.
And I thank you. It really is great. And, he and I are so polar opposite. In almost every single way possible. I don't know how we've remained friends this long, just because we are so different. But we'll fight like lovers, and then, wait, want to go to dinner? So,
I know Rhee said the other day that he got sassy with you, and you were like, this is going to affect your Christmas bonus. And Rhee's like, I get one of that? I said,
everything about my life now on the other end now, since I guess I'm an employee, I still don't know what the hell I am, but I am something. All I keep thinking about is this is gonna be, because she's big on Christmas bonuses, it's gonna be my first Christmas bonus ever, because I was always the one giving people bonuses. So I'm being really good over the next 4 months.
Are you? I'll let you know.
Right. You'll find out.
This is the thing. Why it works. Yes, we are 100%. I'm the Northern Yankee and she's the Southern Princess. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But it works because we hold each other up, meaning I think deep down inside, we need each other to say, you're good at this. You're good at this. And she does it for me. It's like, wow, this works. This works. We are Jim and Tammy Faye Baker.
Oh my God. We hope the world hopes.
I keep telling her I want our own church. I'm Jim. She's Tammy Faye. We can do this. Okay. Yeah, this is a great talk. So, what would you say to younger studio owners who are looking to build something meaningful, Michelle?
I get this question a lot by people that are starting their studios, and I tell them to start small, be humble.
Yeah.
I started in 650 square feet. It was a terrible little space. It was putting lipstick on a pig, and that is being very gracious. It was horrible, but it's something I could afford. And there were studios around me opening, as you can imagine, over the last 32 years, and they start in the biggest place. They try to start, splashy. Well, no one knows anything about you. And if you start like that, you go out of business. 90% of dance studios go out of business because.
Is that the percentage?
Yes.
Wow. I never knew that.
I have watched dozens come and go in just around me. And but they always want to start big. And I can remember going to a dance competition in Charlotte, and I had 5 competitors. It was my second year. And there was a guy teaching at a school, and he was up there in the top 10, and they had hundreds of numbers. The other studios had hundreds of numbers. There were a couple of those studio owners up there, and I made it up into the top 10, and it was for teachers had to come and get the awards back then. I don't remember what it was about. And I got there, and I remember he looks over and he goes, "Oh, did you get yourself a little trophy?" And I said, "Yeah, it looks just like yours," because he thought I was less than him. And so I just locked that away, and I thought, I'm standing up here beside you with my 5 students, and we've brought 3 numbers. They're there with hundreds apiece, Now that's me coming with that many. The difference in that is I come with humility because I remember just wanting my name called, just wanting to have to hang, dance. And so I think staying humble, because just when you think you're amazing, you're not. And just when you get cocky, something happens. And any parent in the studio can humble you in a minute. And so I don't know. I keep thinking of myself as that girl with cardboard crown molding in my little tiny 6 foot by 4 foot lobby. Literally, I could touch all the walls. I mean, I just had nothing, but I just worked really hard. So
I think that's a great piece of advice, Michelle, because I think like what you're saying, so many people want to start so big. And I can speak for myself. I wasn't a business person. I went to school for dance. And that's the one thing that I kick myself in the butt about, that I'm like, that I didn't go and get a business degree. I did continuing education, Rhee Gold, all of those things. So I said, I got my business degree in, dance studio ownership for sure. But I think a lot of people go in and think, I'm going to build it and they're just going to come. And you're like, right, but there's other things that you have to do as well. It's the marketing, it's the advertising, it's the free things, the promotional shows, the trial classes, the advertise. It's like, it's all of that too. It's all of that. And I think you're so right with start small and humble and let it grow. Let it bring the right people into your business. Because like you said, there's going to be people who do not mesh with you, and you want to be in a position where you can say, bye-bye, go down the street. Because you know that you can still support your bills and pay your bills without that trouble mom, and it's a great feeling to be in that position finally, but it takes a while.
And I needed 24 and a half kids to break even back then to pay my bills, not pay myself. And after my open house, I had 21. And then by the end of the year, I had almost 100 students. It was just me against them. And so it was a lot. I mean, it seemed, I laugh now, you've got almost 3,000 students. But that 100 was harder because it was by myself. Now I've got a team of amazing people that help me. I've got a personal assistant that doesn't let me fail. My sister's my director. I've got 54 employees that want this to work as well. So it's not just me doing it. And, but they go by my vision because they trust me, because it doesn't change. I don't jump around with what my thoughts are and what I want. I'm very true to who I am.
Mm. Yeah. And I'm sure your staff feels that. And I'm sure your clientele feels that, which is why you have the clientele and the numbers that you have, is because when your vision doesn't change, they know what they're going to get when they walk in the middle of the street. Yep. They know the mission. They know that it's age appropriate. The costumes are going to be spectacular and appropriate, a great class, safe kids. That's what I would say most moms are looking for.
Yep. That's it.
Mm-hmm. Bingo. I think a lot of us are spending our time trying to be the best studio, or at least trying to say that to the world, when in reality, people want it to be a fun place, a comfortable place, a place where their kid, we were talking about this before we started, or maybe when we started, where a kid walks out and says, I love to dance. It's that simple.
It's my goal every day.
Mm-hmm.
We're all sometimes struggling to be bigger than, or better than, or the biggest, when in reality, it's not always the way it has to be for you to consider yourself a success.
No, and there have been years along the way, 12, 15 years ago, where I would get panicked because I felt like we were growing too fast. I'd say, we're not taking any more registration this year. And office manager's like, "Are you sure?" I said, "I feel like I've hit my personal max. I feel like if I put one more person in a room, I'm gonna fail." And I would close it out and just let the waiting list, we'd have a lot of people on the waiting list, but and Rhee will tell you, I go by how I feel about things a lot. I can stand in a room and I have a feeling about things. And it's not that I'm some special thing, but it's just how I've always run my life. And if I feel, I go, I'm not doing this. And my sister goes on my feeling more than she'll go on a fact written on paper. If you're feeling this way, we got to go with this. And that's lovely that they trust me as well. My office manager's like, "Wait a minute. I thought we had some goals." I said, "Don't worry about my goals. I want to make sure." And I remember I had told we were getting a cruise. If we hit this particular number this year, we're going on that cruise. I stopped it short of that. And Gina said, "But they won't hit their numbers." I said, "They've hit their numbers." And we were few, but I don't know. Just something told me, stop what you're doing. Yeah. Let this be. And it was great. And they got to go on the cruise.
But Michelle, that goes back to like you knowing as a business owner what you want and being confident in that. Like if you felt like maybe in that moment you felt that the quality or the whatever of your business, putting too many kids in there was going to be affected. And good for you for like taking that stance, because if you feel that, and I think what I'm trying to say is when the top person feels that, it trickles down.
It does. It does.
So if you're not in where you're supposed to be, your assistant's going to feel it, your director's going to feel it, the teacher's going to feel it, and it's going to trickle out to the parents and the kids. Absolutely. So good for you for like pulling the plug on it. And that's all. But I mean, that's really awesome that you have so many wait lists too, though. Like, good for you. Amazing.
Well, all right, Michelle, we call this mini rapid fire round.
Okay.
Quick answer, but I'm doing this first one because I want to make a joke. Favorite late night snack after a long studio day? And don't say water.
Yeah. I do drink a lot of water.
2 gallons of water a day. Go ahead.
Yeah. I'm down to 1.5 gallons now. I'm doing better. I was literally drowning myself, but I'm thirsty. I love to drink water. But my favorite thing, my go-to is dill pickles at night. I eat them. If I get up in the night, girl, you get that crunch, it'll put you back to sleep. So I go down there and I ate a can one time, half a jar. And my stomach hurts so bad, but that was okay. I just down there just crunching and doing and eating. But that's my go-to. And thank God it's low calorie. And that's probably why I started that years ago. So yeah. I know you can catch me any night going down there and getting it. Sometimes twice a night.
The pickles.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Nice. And how about a quote you'd live by?
Oh, winners do what losers don't want to do.
Ooh, I might write that down. Say it again. Say it again.
Okay. Winners do what losers don't want to do. And on the mornings I don't want to get up and go to work, I'll go, "Girl, can't be a loser today. Get up. You got to go. Like, you just got to keep going." And I've had that printed on a lot of shirts over the years, sweatshirts, T-shirts. I'm trying to just get it out to the kids.
I love that.
Most played song on your lifetime playlist?
Oh, Jesus. I don't listen to music. I never have my radio on in my car. I do not listen to any music unless I'm choreographing a piece. I feel like I've been surrounded by it for so many years. I even went when Natalie, I was bringing her back from Alabama. She had an audition for West Side Story and had to be in New York. And I had to fly to Alabama to drive her car back with the last of her little stuff. So I'm in her little beetle bug with eyelashes, driving 7 hours from Alabama. Never once turned the radio on.
Whoa. Just silence in your own thoughts.
Yes, it's blissful.
I get it, because I used to be that way. I'd listen to anything but music on the radio because of the amount of music at dance competitions I was running, the studio.
Overloaded.
And now I'm a music listener again because it puts me in moods, especially music from eras of my lifetime. But that's interesting.
It is. And I mean, I just I can't cope. I can't cope with it because I choreograph. I'll see it in my mind and it wears me out. I exhaust myself. Even when I go to church, I go 11:22, because then all the music's done. I'll go in for the sermon and then I get out before they do the last play because I can't, because I'll be sitting in church and I'll go, okay, the music playing. I'm like, okay, girls come down, they cross over. I'm like, I cannot even sit here and enjoy this hymn. This is not rock and roll music either. This is a hymn, and I can choreograph to anything. So I'm like, no, not doing it.
I love that. And I like like your airplane director, like traffic control.
Girls, they've got these white costumes on, the flowing chiffon. I mean, it's awful. I'll have a full show and I'm worn out sitting there like.
All right. How about your coffee order? What's your go-to?
McDonald's is my favorite coffee, and Dunkin' Donuts in the world. I don't drink Starbucks. It tastes burnt to me. So I'll be, if in a pinch, I can do it. But I love McDonald's. But 4 days ago, I gave up coffee again. So I'm on day 4 of not having any. So I miss it because I love the taste of it with my cream in it. But I'm not supposed to have cow's milk because it messes with my arthritis. So I have yet to find the perfect cream. So when I do, I'll go back and get my McDonald's coffee. But it's $2.48. And it's the best $2.48 I can spend in a day. And it's right across the street. But I don't do anything else there. But I love their coffee.
Okay, all the fine dining that I have done with Michelle over the last year, and her favorite coffee is McDonald's.
I know. I'm a little redneck at heart.
Okay, love that. Okay, you answer me with this response all the time when I say, how are you doing? But what does living the dream really mean to you? What does that mean?
You know, somebody once told me if you've got a career that you love and a spouse that you love, you've made it, because that's the 2 things that are the most important things. They take up the most of your life. So I think, and I'm bad about this, I'm working on this. This is Michelle's worst thing, is I am never satisfied with anything. I'm always what's next, how to do it better, how to do better. So living the dream for me is if I can, when Rhee used to call me, he'd say, how you doing? And I'd say, I'm living the dream, Rhee Gold. How are you? Like, because I remind myself I am in the middle of the dream that I wanted. I wanted this studio. I wanted to pick out costumes. I wanted to create shows. I wanted to do events. I'm doing all the things. Sometimes when you're in it, you don't stop and say, I'm actually living my dream right now. Now, sometimes that dream's a little bit of a nightmare. As we all know, you can live in a nightmare too. But overall, I just have to, that's how I learn to remind myself that I'm living the dream. Every morning when I wake up to my husband beside of me, I look over and go, golly, like, what a gift, I mean, found him and have this life that we have together and how he fits in it so well. So that's living the dream to me, is knowing you're happy.
Can I say it's interesting that you pretty much in so many words said work-life balance?
Yeah. Exactly.
Having that both are important to you. And I think it's really neat that you have such an empire of so many dancers, but that's equally important to you as having a good spouse. I love that.
The first 20 years I did not have balance. I was all work, but I wasn't in a marriage that was an inclusive whole. So I know the difference. So I'm very, very thankful for what I have. So, and I've had health issues over the years, but I'm still here. Like, I just feel like I've dodged so many big bullets in my lifetime that I'm like, golly, I've got a purpose here. I've got to keep moving.
Yeah.
Golly.
Do what?
Golly me.
He's just picking on you again.
No, I think that's wicked cool, my friend. I think golly me is just as cool as wicked.
I needed a translator for that. I was like, what did he just say?
Okay. Michelle, thank you for being here, and thank you for believing in this work, this mission, and our dance community.
Yes, your story is definitely inspiring, Michelle. So we're very excited for the future ahead with you leading the way.
It's going to be great. It's going to be great. But the best part is Rhee Gold will still be completely in it. So it's all hidden. So
I for those of you who wonder, is this like this Rhee stepping back? I've never been busier than I have in the last 3 or 4 weeks. That's all I'm saying.
I say, work
Michelle, promises. Okay, wait, I've lost it. Thank you to Jackrabbit Dance. Your support means a lot to us.
Yep. And if you enjoyed this episode, please like, comment, and share. And don't forget to subscribe on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube.
And visit rheegold.com. Info on next year's conferences, the alliances, and I'm giving a plug. Join us September 24th, 11 a.m. Go to rheegold.com/studio-owner and sign up. And here, Michelle and I share the future. And we're going to introduce you to some new and old faces on that day as well. Thank you again, Michelle. Thank you all for tuning in. We will actually be back on Thursday night, 7 p.m. with special guest Andrea Trench. Yep. See you there. That's a wrap on this episode of Living the Dream. A huge thank you to our sponsor, Jackrabbit Dance, for their support of our community and helping dance studios thrive. If you loved today's conversation, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share with your dance friends. Until next time, keep dreaming, keep dancing, and keep making a difference.